Hi, Brian. Thank you for agreeing to meet with me via telehealth.
All right, yeah. How you doing?
I'm good.
I
Just go ahead.
I I was I thought I was gonna have a mail. I had put in a request for a mail
Yes.
counselor.
So all of our male counselors, their caseloads are currently full. Would it be okay for you to continue working with me?
Yes, I can continue. Sure.
Okay. I just wanted to let you know a couple of things. I am recording our Zoom sessions just for our case files so that we have those as part of your chart. And
Okay.
just wanted to go over confidentiality as well. Everything that you talk about in here is confidential and kept private unless there was any cause for concern that someone may be injured, yourself or others, any harm to yourself or others. Otherwise, I'd like to get started. Again, thank you for agreeing to meet via telehealth. I know that's a different format for some of us.
Yeah.
I had a chance to review your intake form, and it seems that you were referred by your boss. Do you want to tell
Yes.
me a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I work in construction. I work all week, sometimes 6 days a week. He says that he was concerned a little with my outbursts. Outbursts, I guess he meant anger. He
Mhm.
thought I was having said I had a couple a while ago, and they seem to be picking up pace or something like that. Anger outbursts. I guess I do see it a little bit, but I didn't think it was that big of a deal. So I do have outbursts. He sent me home early, actually, a few days ago, and was asking that please get some help. So when I came in,
Yeah.
um, my wife also uh, issues. Some of my outbursts again a little bit with my son. It's been causing a little bit of friction and a little separation from him. So we don't spend as much time together now. I mean, maybe it's because of work. Not sure. I go out drinking a lot. I'm away a lot, so I work. I'm away a lot with friends and drink. We fish, stuff like that. So I don't
Mhm.
know what the big deal is, but here I am.
Yeah. So it sounds like there have been maybe increasing outbursts both at home and work. And it's led to some important people in your life being concerned about your anger.
Yeah, I mean, I could see the increase, but I don't see what the big deal is. You know, I do what I do. I drink, and works. Work gets a little stressful. So you have to vent out a little sometimes. But
Yeah.
I can sort of see the issue, but having to be here is a little bit of a pain in the neck, though. So. Um,
Right. Well, I appreciate that you've, listened to some of the concerns of these individuals in your life and that you have taken this step to, get this extra assistance.
yeah.
Um, they have recognized anger as an issue. What would you say are some of the struggles that you're having?
Uh, Again, work's very stressful with the hours. Sometimes they keep us really late, so it causes issues at home. And I'm not really good at dealing with stress. Really not good dealing with stress, and the alcohol just takes the edge off.
Right.
With friends takes the edge off. I don't want to come home and have to hear the stress. And it's a pretty good household. It seems to get a little worse when I'm drinking a little more and leading to these outbursts. And again, it seems to be a little separation from my wife and my son, and emotionally and physically. So um, I see it a little bit, but I don't think it's serious enough where I need to be here working with you. But I'm
Mhm.
here, and then at work, I did miss a few days. Missed a couple days at work. I'm usually on time, and I'm just always on time, and I don't miss a day. But I say in the last month or so, I missed I don't know, 4 or 5 days.
Mhm.
Usually Mondays after the weekend,
Mhm.
Monday or Tuesday. So that's
So these
about it.
so these outbursts and possibly even the drinking have led to decreased work productivity. You've missed a couple days at work.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely productivity, absolutely. Again, with the family, also seems to be maybe just as big of an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting with the spouse and the son.
Mm-hmm.
When I get home from work, on days I'm done drinking and I'm home away from friends, seems to be a little more friction than usual. So
So I'm hearing stress come up a lot.
Mhm.
What would you say are some of your, biggest stressors for
Mhm.
you?
Work, having to get a certain amount of work done in a short period of time. That's probably the biggest piece. Very big piece. Come home, I got to spend time with, when you're tired, you got to spend time with family and do certain familial activities. So that gets a little bit stressful to me, but
Mhm.
it's to be mostly work. And I think the alcohol it helps short term. Like I feel good and hang with friends, but then I think it might even make me more upsetting, more angry and stuff. So I don't know.
So you're seeing some disadvantages potentially of the drinking. It's been helpful to deal with some of your stress, but then it's also causing some added problems in your life.
Yeah, I feel like just the added drinking and then just not spending time with family because I'm out drinking as well. So maybe a little just
Mhm.
indirectly or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, this leading tension just seems to be building and building. I think slowly. Again, I don't think it was that serious to be here, but I'm starting to understand a little bit as I'm talking to you,
Hmm.
and talking about it. So
Yeah. And you didn't want to get counseling, but you're here, so that's a good step in the right direction.
yeah,
Um,
thank you.
I have some, additional assessment questions that I'd like to go through with you,
All right.
if that's okay with you.
Yes.
All right, Brian. So just a few questions, as we go over your assessment.
Hmm.
You mentioned that you're married and you have a son. How long have you been married?
Hmm. Oh, just past 10 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And you have one child, one son?
Yes. 9.
9. Okay.
Mhm.
And tell me about just social supports in your life. What are you interested in? Are you close with your extended family?
I do have family up here. Do have a mom and dad, and my brothers are up here as well. I see them. I don't see them as often as I used to, though. Now that I think about it, I have extended family. I don't see them as much as I did the first few years that they were up here. So I noticed a decline in spending time with them.
Hmm.
Um, they got 2 brothers. Mom and dad are getting a little bit older, still around. Social supports. What was the other question you asked? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Any hobbies, any, activities that I know you mentioned fishing earlier. You go fishing with a few friends.
Yeah, I have a couple of friends. Well, really just one, Matt. My friend Matt. We go fishing a lot. He's all, he's also married. Um, Sometimes Norman comes along to go fishing, so I spend a little time with him. But I don't
Hmm.
have a lot of supports there. I guess just Matt, and then my job, interact at work a lot. So
Okay.
that's about it.
Do you and your family attend a church?
But we do attend the church. We have not been going as much. Now that I think about it, we're going to church there. Yeah, I mean every Sunday. Sometimes you can watch it online as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, we're probably going like twice a month now.
How
Instead of
would you describe your faith?
not as strong as it was when I was younger. I think it's declined a little bit.
Okay.
So I did notice that as well. Um, Not reading the Bible as much as I was, so I don't feel the same connection I did.
Hmm.
So
So I'm hearing a decline in several areas. Mentioned less involvement with church. You're not spending as much time reading the Bible and prayer. Not as much time with your extended family that are close by as maybe you had previously. Um, Tell me about your work history. How long have you been at your current job?
I've been here. Well, I was at first job, also a construction job. I was there 4 years, and there was a little stress there too. And they sort of asked me if gave me an ultimatum to leave. There
Mm,
was some outbursts back then as well,
mm,
similar to now. Maybe a few more outbursts today as was the other job, and there seems to be an ultimatum now as well to
mm.
get some help. So construction is a very stressful job. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of stress, high demand, you know, out in the elements and stuff, and it's just gets stressful. So it's
Mhm,
my second job. Been in construction my whole life, so this will
mhm,
be my. I've been at this job about 6 years. But it's been all construction basically my whole life. Always working with my hands. So,
Mhm, mhm.
mm.
Yeah. Are there other, things that you do similar to construction in your own time, such as building, craft type things with your son, or hobbies in that venue?
Well, I work around the house here. We got a 2 acre property. We got a big house. So we do a lot of stuff here.
Mhm.
Again, I haven't been home as much, either work or fishing lots. I haven't been home as much, and grass is getting a little bit high out there. See the grass is getting high, and I'm not doing all the chores that I was doing before
Mhm.
on my property. Again, spending a little less time with the family. But I gotta hang with the boys. Gotta help relieve stress.
Mhm.
So
So
give
your
it.
friends that you fish with are definitely a support for you. You would consider that.
I do. I mean, they drink,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
drinking buddies. That's I guess drinking fishing buddies. So.
Mhm. Um, have you had any past legal history? You've mentioned, the drinking and, outbursts at work. Has any of that ever led to any legal problems? Any arrests?
I did. I did get arrested once, right before I got fired from the first job for drinking under the influence.
Okay.
Ended up just giving me a ticket and a slap on the wrist the first time. I forget what the blood alcohol level was. 0.08, I think, right at the limit.
Hmm.
So yeah, I did spend the weekend in jail. Again, they gave me, I paid a fine and stuff, and that was several years ago. And they said don't do it again, and so that was really the only time.
Did you seek any services at that point? Attend any AA meetings or get any counseling for the substance use?
I remember seeing a counselor. It was a male counselor though. It seemed to go smooth. Yeah, I went to those AA meeting things.
Mm-hmm.
Went to a few. I guess
Hmm.
it was okay.
Okay.
A few meetings.
Right. Any medication that you're currently taking?
No,
Okay.
I take melatonin before I go to sleep. That's about it. I don't think that's a medication, is it?
So, have you had trouble sleeping recently then?
Yeah, a little bit of little. Sometimes it's tough to fall asleep.
How long has that been going on?
Seems like it's gotten worse the last 6 weeks.
Okay. 6 weeks.
And I get wake up groggy. Like I feel like I'm sleeping long, but I'm not getting proper rest. I don't know.
Mm.
My
Okay.
wife keeps telling me, "Oh, it's the alcohol. It's the alcohol." I don't know.
Mm.
I don't see why it'd be the alcohol.
Okay. So she's stating it might be related to the drinking, but you don't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know if it is. I just can't
Okay.
speculate about if whether it is or it isn't. Like,
Okay. Um, what would you say are some of your greatest strengths, Brian?
provider, I always provide. Pay my bills. I'm good with money. Um, Loyal to job.
Mhm.
Loyalty. I think I was a good family person, but now I'm hearing that I'm not. So
Mm.
I'm not home as much. But when I'm home, I feel like I am. Um, that's about it, really. Too many things going on.
Yeah. Let's talk just a little bit about what brought you in, the anger. You've mentioned that it was an issue in your past position at work, and then you changed jobs and it started to come up again. How often a week would you say that you have an anger outburst?
Hmm. I guess I have just as many at work as I do at home. They've increased, maybe three now. I don't know, 2 or 3 a week.
2 to 3 per week?
Yeah.
And what happens when you get angry? What does that look like?
Mm. Well, I definitely get louder than I am now. Uh,
Raise
I
your
I'll
voice.
admit that I've been known to curse when I get loud. To curse, I have cursed in front of my son several times too. Not nice.
Hmm.
My wife. So
Hmm.
yeah, curse to coworkers, especially this one coworker. Oof. I got to pick up the slack for him all the time. One of those guys.
Hmm.
So yeah, I guess I get a little loud. Definitely potty mouth a little bit with the potty mouth. So
Hmm. So is the anger often related to situations like you mentioned with your coworker that you feel like you have to pick up slack for him? Does it happen that way at home too, if you're feeling that you're not, being heard, or you said that being a provider was really important to you and being dependable and loyal at home? Do you feel like that's being acknowledged?
Yeah, I think at work again with that one guy, if I feel like I'm not being respected, and then at home when I'm gone fishing and I come home and I'm gone most of the time, I do come home and a lot of friction in the house. I don't feel like I'm being respected.
Mm,
Son is not talking to me as much as he was. Wife's upset. So I
mm,
just fly off the handle.
mhm.
I just can't take it. People ignoring me and stuff like that. So,
And
yep.
how long has the anger most recently been an issue? When did work and home start commenting on that?
Work home started commenting first, maybe about 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks ago.
Okay.
And then I don't know, work recently in the last couple of weeks. But I don't want to lose this job, so here I am.
Mhm. Well, and your job is very important to you. You've only, you've worked two jobs. You're very loyal. You've stayed on those jobs, and so it sounds like that's really definitely a priority for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for answering those questions. Let's move into setting a few goals for our work together.
All right.
All right. So after completing the assessment, let's think about what direction we want. All right. So after talking just through your assessment, it seems that the anger outbursts are really kind of the biggest issue that you're coming in with. I know I've also heard you mention the drinking. Is the drinking something you would like to address as well?
I mean, I'm starting, the more I'm talking to you, I'm starting to see the connection between drinking and the anger stuff. So maybe.
Okay. Which of those would you say is most important to you right now?
Yeah, anger.
Anger.
Anger. I mean, that's what I've been told. I mean, I get to see it, but again, it's not serious enough to be here. But if I got to be here to do this for my job, my
Mhm.
family, then I'll do it.
Okay. What would your life look like if the anger was no longer an issue for you?
Hmm. Well, I'd probably be able to deal with some of the coworkers a little easier. There wouldn't be as many outbursts. My work would go much easier. Well, probably easier if the coworker wasn't there, but if the coworker is going to stay, being able to talk through stuff, maybe talk about my thoughts with people instead of just letting it build up and exploding.
Mhm.
Maybe approaching people before it gets to that point. Maybe. I mean, that's at work anyway.
Right. So that's at
That's what
work. How would
that's what
things
it look
look
like.
differently at home for you?
Yeah. At home, I mean, I keep heading that I'm not there, so probably a little less fishing. Uh, Probably come home earlier by not doing that overtime at work, maybe. So I'd be home earlier, and that sometimes when I come home earlier, that seems to make people feel better. Um, just be slow. Just maybe have a closer relationship with my wife and my son. Just I'm there, and everybody's happy, and spending more time together. I think that would look like that. We
Mm-hmm.
used to go on more vacations.
Mm.
We were on vacations every summer, and then maybe one time in the winter, we would do more stuff together, board games at home. Oh yeah, we've stopped doing that as well. So more board games. We used to cook together and stuff. So yeah, I
You
guess those.
mentioned the overtime. When did you start picking up more overtime?
I've always worked overtime, but it wasn't as consistent as it is now. He's like really busy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a couple of months. I've been a lot of overtime, lots. But when you don't doing overtime, you want to have a couple of drinks with the boys after. So it's pulling me away from the
Mm-hmm.
home even more. So
Well, what would you say, as we develop a goal to work on together to kind of
mhm.
guide our, counseling, what do you want to accomplish from working with me and getting counseling?
Let me see. Well, obviously, I'm not working right now because I had to get this help. So I want to be able to return to work pretty soon. I don't know the time limit, but as soon as possible.
Okay.
That'd be a big goal.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, and your employer said that you needed to seek counseling in order to come back to work.
yes, he did say that. So our goal will be to get back to work.
Okay.
That's probably the biggest one, and maybe at some point have a better relationship, especially with my son.
Okay. So your goal is to return to work, hopefully soon, maybe within the next month.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to do a lot sooner than that, and the bills got to be paid. But yeah,
All right. And how? What do you think you need to do in order to accomplish that? In order to get back to work, what needs to be done?
well, I mean, I would need to not get angry. Seems to be the biggest issue. Is just the outbursts causing friction with other people and at work. So
Hmm.
this anger, do something with this anger, this outbursts.
Yeah.
Would be the number one.
So earlier you said that you have about 2 to 3 outbursts per week.
Mhm.
Do you think it's realistic to say we'll decrease that by half and go down to only 1 outburst per week?
Yeah, I mean that'd be a good goal. I think I like that.
Okay. And I know you've talked about stress a lot and how stress leads to
Mhm.
anger for you.
Right.
Um, and what are some goals to deal with those to that. All right, thank you, Brian, for answering all of the assessment questions. Again, now that we've talked about both the anger and your drinking, you mentioned both of those. Which would you say is the most important to you currently?
Um, well, I think the anger stuff seems to be the one that people keep bringing up.
Mhm.
Maybe the drinking, but it seems to be harmless. So I'm saying that the work keeps saying the outbursts, the family. So I guess the anger issues is probably forefront.
Yeah, and it seems in some ways they are connected. Um, I heard you say a few times that the drinking is often one of the ways that you deal with the anger and the stress of work.
Yeah, it seems to help short term, and then it maybe even gets worse after. So yeah, I would say the drinking, maybe slow down on the drinking. I have a little too many, maybe with the friends when I'm fishing. So anger is definitely number one, and maybe the drinking a little, maybe
Okay.
two goals.
So what would life look like for you if anger was no longer an issue for you?
Oh wow, where at home, work, or you're just saying in general?
Well, we can start at work. How would life be different at work?
I would just come to work. I would interact and have good conversations. I'm not very good at expressing myself. I just sort of let stuff build and then explode. So maybe being able to talk to people a little more, be a little more assertive before it builds up, so I don't explode. I would say do that, being able to talk to people more instead of just not saying anything. So, and then at home, well, with the work also not being, sent to the boss's office there for
Mm,
this issue. So just come to work, talk to people, hopefully work through most of those problems, and then go home. At home, I get a lot of pushback because I'm gone all the time. We used to what do we used to do? We used to do a lot of cook together as family a lot, play a
mhm,
lot of board games. We used to go biking and hiking all the time. We haven't done that really in a while. So I come home from work, maybe not do as much overtime, just go fishing. We used
mhm.
to do camping as well. So a lot of family activities we would do, and there's a lot less bickering and fighting. So
You
it was
mentioned you mentioned overtime. How much overtime are you working right now?
well, obviously I'm not there at this moment, but I was working 25 hours a week extra,
Hmm.
maybe 65 hours a week total.
Do
So it
you
was
feel
significant.
do you feel that that's an extra source of stress for you?
It's stress, but there's a lot of extra money. It's time and a half. So I really feel like it's helpful. So not
And
okay.
you mentioned earlier that being a provider is very important to you. So I could see that
Yes,
connection certainly.
it is. Maybe I'm getting a little carried away with the overtime. Not sure.
Yeah. So so we've talked about anger and the drinking kind of being connected some.
Mhm.
You've been referred by your employer who wanted you to get counseling before returning to work.
Yep.
So what would you say is your main goal that you want to accomplish through counseling?
Hmm. Just the outbursts, just to lower these outbursts.
Okay. Okay. So earlier you said that you have about 2 to 3 anger outbursts per week.
Probably more like 4. I'm the one thinking about 4 outbursts a
Okay.
week.
4. Okay. So would a realistic goal be to lower that by 50% to maybe 1 or 2 per week?
Yeah,
Okay.
I could do that.
Okay. So if lowering your anger outbursts to about 1 to 2 per week from where you are now at 4 is the goal, what do you think you need to do in order to accomplish that goal?
Oh man, people keep telling me things that I could do. They said I could go to some self-help group for anger, maybe. That's
Okay.
what I was told.
Okay.
That's one thing that I could do. Let me see what else. Just spend more time with family. Maybe do more activities every week. I think that would help.
It
Um,
sounds like you think that you might need some healthier outlets for your anger, such as spending more quality time with family in a
mhm,
healthy way, um, finding outside groups that maybe you could go to express, your feelings
mhm.
more frequently. So definitely 2 ideas there on what you could do differently with your anger. Uh,
Right.
is that kind of what you're thinking? Some additional strategies for that?
Yes, I think that's good. Definitely those meetings they said help. I did those AA meetings in the past, but this would be different. This would be an anger management group. They said maybe
Right?
once or
Right?
twice a week. Do that, and then spend more time with family. Um, I mean, those are 2. I know I not exercising as much. Maybe increase exercise. That always helped me. Maybe go to the gym. I have a gym membership I haven't used. Oh, geez, I just realized paying all these fees.
Mm.
Maybe go to the gym a couple times a week. It's another strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're already well on your way.
Yeah.
And then we mentioned the alcohol use. So what are your thoughts on creating a goal around that? Um,
Mm. Yeah, I mean the amount of days or the amount of alcohol. What do you think? Days per week?
well, how would you say your alcohol use is currently impacting your daily life?
Yeah, I mean it's probably 5 days a week, where it was only on the weekends. So it's definitely more. I would
Mhm.
say it's definitely more. Maybe I could just drink on the weekends. Cut out
Okay.
during the week.
All right. So decreasing your alcohol use is a goal that you would like to work on.
Yes,
Okay.
it's expensive anyway.
And what might help you reach that goal?
Just again, I think if I'm spending more time with family and doing stuff,
Mm.
just tell the friends no during the week. Monday through Friday is a no. Maybe just spend more time home, no drinking,
Mhm.
less stress there. So just drinking on Saturday or Sunday, and that's it. You gotta be helpful and just stick to that.
For both the anger and the alcohol, I know going back to your comment earlier about overtime, would decreasing the stress at work also assist you with reaching these goals?
I think so. Obviously, yeah. So well, a lot of stress comes from some of the employees, but also a lot of hours worked. Maybe working a little less would help me. I'd be home a little more. So a little less overtime, a little less time at fishing with friends, drinking, more time at home. I think that would help.
Okay. How
Um,
much less overtime would you be willing to put in?
mm, that's a good question. I'd have to look at my books, but I don't know, I definitely cut it in half, but
Okay.
maybe 10 hours instead of 25, a little
Okay.
less than half. Just get a little bit of overtime there. That'd be really helpful.
Yeah. Because financially, you still want to be in a good place as well.
Yes.
Okay, so let's review our plan. Your goal is to decrease your anger outbursts by 50%, which will then hopefully get you back to work and
Hmm.
more successful at home and school, home and work.
Hmm.
And in order to do that, you want to it sounds like develop some healthy strategies. So, and you've already got a few ideas for that: spending more time with family,
Hmm.
going to the gym, maybe joining an anger management group, which we can definitely talk about. And
Okay.
then your second goal is to decrease your alcohol use by 50% as well.
Mhm.
Um, and or only on the weekdays. Was that what you said earlier? Only on the weekdays or only on the weekends? Sorry.
Weekends, yes. I'll try to
Okay.
do that.
And then also along with that, another way to meet that goal for both really would be to decrease the overtime by 50%.
Yeah, I think that would help. A
Okay.
little more than 50%.
All right.
Go from 25 hours to 10, so we'll see.
Okay. Good. I think we have a good, base for our plan, and we can kind of get into more of the action steps in our next session.
Right.
In the meantime, I will look into some potential groups, both AA and anger management in your
All
area,
right.
and hopefully we will be able to go over those when we meet next time. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian.
All right.